I don't have my glasses.
You're slow.
I can't see.
I got to see you.
Join the
I got to
graph.
see the cups, and I only got one to come up from this cup. So then I went.
Up there at the, I got a bunch of extra seeds. So
I soaked my seeds in water overnight, and I went out just. She hadn't been. We need to.
she was coming. Yeah,
I rode in there for the block when they're still working on it.
probably not.
Maybe they're looking at her twin.
Has she got a twin?
She does.
Has she?
But she doesn't live here.
Oh, but this lady outside, I wanted to call her. I don't believe. They were they just walk on. They got two special machines there. You can put time, what you want in and all that kind of stuff, keep up with time.
Yeah.
And we talked, and I was thinking, I said,
Yeah.
but I said,
Probably we need to be in there.
it would always be between 4 and 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so she takes the kids to school.
John
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. lady?
If she ever gives you in trouble.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, you see yourself?
I told him. Not my favorite. It's my. Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and,
To change the minutes.
You never know. You just never know.
I can't do much about that. I'm jealous of people who can. How are you doing?
all right, we're gonna go ahead and call the, April meeting to order. John, would you give us a word of prayer, please?
Absolutely. Y'all, please pray with me. Dear Lord, we come before you once again to ask your blessings and your guidance as we make decisions that are important to this organization. Lord, we ask that those decisions are pleasing in your sight. In his name we pray.
Amen.
We are going to make a change in the order of our agenda. We would like to move executive session up to after the minutes, so that'll move into spot number 3. And then we'll come back into public session and go straight back to divisional reports. I need a motion to change that agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Everybody will take a look at the minutes from the March 9th meeting and see if there's any additions or corrections.
Move that we accept them as prepared.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Do I have a motion that we go into executive session?
So move.
Second it.
All in favor, raise your right hand. If y'all wouldn't mind stepping in the back just for a few minutes, we'll try to get back with y'all as quickly as we can.
You go back there if you want to, Calvin.
Okay.
Thank y'all for understanding. I will. Okay, we are back in public session, and we are moving to divisional reports. And Keith, you're going to be doing that for us?
Yes, sir. In the administrative division in March, all the departments are planning to comply with the new South Carolina 811 laws that require utilities to report damage, and the new laws will go into effect in May. There's a lot of pieces to that, and there's several of us that's been to meetings on that and all, as even back in the fall of last year, they were kind of planning towards them. Blake Beck was onboarded to fill the open maintenance department position. The finance team has been busy working with the state to address requests for information regarding the fee reimbursements. And the STEAM award here, Lawrence CPW was awarded the STEAM Business of the Year Award from Lawrence District 55 at the community-wide event held on March 28th. I believe that was up on the square. CPW employees are going to volunteer for a citywide cleanup on April 22nd in honor of Earth Day, and that's something that we've been doing in the past. In the electric division, the T1 transformer, which if you're looking for Mill Street, it's the one on the left, is offline again due to a fault on March the 6th. And they're currently trying to schedule testing for that transformer. And this is a transformer that's had problems over about the last 20 years.
The guy that stole the copper out of it?
Yeah, the guy that broke in the substation about 20 years ago. We've had problems every few years out of it since then. The electrical service for the new water tank on Dean Drive was completed by boring under Dean Drive and setting the feed-through cabinet along with the pad and the 25 kVA transformer. There was a double circuit pole hit on Mill Street, kind of between the substation and North Harper there, and it carries, I believe that's the North Harper circuit and the Hunter circuit on that pole that got hit, and it had to be replaced. In the natural gas division, the annual leak survey for inactive service lines that began in January, along with the leak survey in the business district, those have been completed. There was a 3,000-foot, 2-inch natural gas mainline extension installed on Speedway Drive, and all the critical gas valves were inspected for proper operation. And the PE fusion and OQ testing, everybody's up to date on that. That's something that, some of the OQ testing has to be done every year, and some of it's every 3 years, and the PE fusion is every year. In the water and sewer division, the Dean Drive water tank painting has been completed, and the next step will be the on-site piping and the electrical work. The water plant pump station has a few delays related to one of the VFDs for the large pump, and they finished inspecting that variable frequency drive last week, but we haven't gotten an update for that yet as to how long that's going to take to get that back in order. The raw water pump 2 and 3 will be installed at Lake Raven this week. I believe they started that today. So hopefully those pumps will be back online before too much longer. And I'll be glad to answer any questions if anybody has any questions on that.
Where are we at with the water tank? I guess what do we have, about 90 days left before that's, it's got to be up and running by what, July 1st?
Well, money's gotta be spent by June 30th.
June 30th?
We're hoping to have everything done by June 1st, so that's kind of.
We're down to less than, or right at $1 million drawdown to be for the skip money. It doesn't actually have to be online, but the money has to be accepted, the federal funds, before June 30. So we'll meet that deadline.
When do we think it'll actually come online?
It should
I think
be in
it'll
May, June timeframe.
come online about the time, probably in June.
When they cleared that lot off by the tank, you know what's going on? People, about 10 people asked me, I said, I don't know.
No, that guy, years ago, even before we planned to put the water tank there, he was talking about putting
Houses.
condos, townhouses, apartments, something like that there. And whenever we wanted to take part of that for the water tank, as part of the agreement to get that property, we told him that we would clear the property off for him. He wanted that done, so we agreed to that when we bought the property. So that's why it's been cleared off. Now, how soon he plans to do something, we don't know.
Burton Farm.
Yeah.
The company is doing the natural gas work. Right. The grant work or whatever they're installing. Is that the one, Cetera, is that the company? So they're really working all over town, aren't they?
Yeah, they are working on Church Street, and I think they're over there in, let's see,
Yeah, they've been in my neighborhood.
they've been over there in your area too. But they started on Clemson Street, that, Clemson kind of makes a circle there, so we let them work in that area. I thought that might have been the last place they go, but that was the first place they picked to go. And then they moved over, I think over off of East Main, and then they came back kind of between East Main and Fleming, and then they've been over in Spring Street, Independence, that area over in there. And if we can get everything worked out, they'll move over to like Longview and Pamela Lane, that area over in Gerald's area over there.
What are they doing?
They are replacing steel gas lines with plastic lines, and anybody that has a service line that's steel, they're replacing that. If that line's been replaced with plastic in the past, then the service line may not get replaced. So that's what the work is on that. And then some of those areas that they've only done service lines, because that's what the first grant was, more service lines than mains. They'll go back and replace the mains, because if we had known we'd get the second grant when we did the first one, we would change the order of how we did things, but you have to go on what you know at the time. So that's why they're just different sections that we picked that had the pipe that needed to be replaced in it, and they're going to those sections, and they'll go replace all that and then swap everything over and get everybody back up. And the only problem we run into is if somebody's not at home, they don't turn their gas back on. And so they leave a note, and then they'll call in when they get home at 5 or 6 o'clock and realize their gas is off, and we'll go turn it on at that point when they're home. Because we don't want to turn something on and it have a raw pilot, like the stove here in this building has a raw pilot. So if you turn the gas off, pilot goes out, you turn it back on, it's just releasing gas into the building. So probably nobody has that in their house, but just to be safe.
I was wondering if they were checking to make sure before they did the work of whether somebody's gonna be home or,
We
hope they do, right?
yeah, well, they're just going and doing it when they need to, and then get them back on. All they got to do is turn the valve. Everything's hooked up, ready to go, and they may have to light some pilots. So we tried to be careful about that in the winter. This time of year is not so bad, but we didn't want to, if you're gone, Clemson game, away game over the weekend, and we did yours on Friday after you left, and now your house, it gets down to, 15 degrees and everything freezes because you thought your heat was on. We don't want that to happen. So we tried to make sure that we were going to get the gas back on that day if we changed anybody's out in the winter.
Thank you. I'm just curious, it seemed like they were show up on my street, do one house and leave for a couple weeks and show back up, and I didn't know what the sort of.
We don't really control how the contractor spends their work. They may need help over here, and they were working here today, and now they're over there, and then they're back over here tomorrow or something. That's kind of up to them to do that.
Thank you.
All right, any more questions for Keith? Okay, we're going to move on to new vendor verification and payment security policy.
I just want to mention a few things first, since we don't have financials this month. I did put an updated FEMA tracker in your folder, and then there's also the checks over 3,000. We don't have our financials for this month again. Typically, Gary Bailey is here to present the audit in April, but since we had to have a single audit this year because of all the federal funds we received, it took a little bit longer. So we just got the draft today, and you should hear from Gary Bailey at next month's meeting for the 2025 financial audit. So in light of some things that happened recently, John and I were discussing what we do here for vendors and how we pay our vendors and how we change information. And even though we felt like we had a good process, we wanted to put it in a policy and have it in writing, so all of our team members who have access to these kind of things are clear and have a good understanding about verifying our vendors and making changes to vendors. I will tell you that we pay very few vendors via ACH. Only our large vendors such as PMPA and Direct Energy, CPW, Lower Alabama, our gas, basically most of our wholesale utilities. And there is a dual authorization process that takes place on the bank side with that too. We're not immune to cybercrime, to fictitious emails. Keith's gotten one before asking us to change the routing number for our gas company. Picked up the phone, called them, no, my email's been hacked. Don't change the bank information. And then also there's some safety protocols in the banking system that will let me know or Keith know if somebody goes in and makes changes to a vendor profile. We wanted to put this in our internal controls and make this a policy so that everyone is on the same page when it comes to new vendors and how we set them up and pay them as well. I'll be glad to take any questions. As I mentioned, we're not immune. I've got a fictitious email, and I actually got one a couple weeks ago. So, the best thing to do is pick up the phone and call who you know first, and then do it again.
How many people do you have paying invoices?
So we pay most of our invoices via check. The invoices get distributed to the management team. Like if it was something that Keith was responsible for, he would look at the invoice, approve it. It's an electronic signature, and then it cuts him a check. The ones that are vendor payments like that, typically they come to me and then Heath reviews them too, so both of us have to go in and approve a payment before it goes out to a vendor. So we try to have dual control on everything that we can, and then the accountant reviews everything as well. And then I get a check register every week too, so I know what's paid out. But like, for instance, the bond funds that we have as a trustee, we don't send direct payments to vendors like a construction company. That was doing work for us. We pay them directly and then we get reimbursed. And the trustee wires us the money. So, while ACH is great and convenient, there is a little more exposure for fraud.
Does insurance cover things like?
That's a good question. We had an employee dishonesty that had some coverage, and they just sent cancellation notice last month. So I'm looking into seeing what kind of other coverages we can get for fraud and cybercrime, because our normal insurance reserve fund does not cover those kinds of claims.
So we don't have any cyber coverage right now?
Not right now. Well, we do have some cyber, but not for financial recovery.
I appreciate you putting the policy together. Not personally, but clients have had this happen to them, and failure just to pick up the phone and call somebody is the driver.
And that's like we talked about. We all know, what we do and how we respond to requests and that kind of thing, but I thought it was important that we put it in writing so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, we've done what's in the policy in the past when we had something like this happen. To me, it's just, you don't make changes to that unless you verify it. That's what I would think, and just to make sure. But it was several years ago this happened with the prepaid gas vendor that we pay every month. And I just called them and they said, no, we didn't request that change. And I said, okay, that's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure.
The other thing is, we want to check every one of them, but the big one is, if somebody gets us for $500, shame on us, or shame on them. We just don't want to get taken for $100,000, like some other people we know.
Have y'all got any feedback from Love and Bailey about the new policies? This policy? Have you asked for them?
They haven't seen this one yet. Okay. They have our other internal controls, but since this one hasn't been approved yet, but yeah, we'll add it to it and send it to them. I'm sure it might come up.
Sure will.
Yeah, that's part of that.
So do I have a motion to approve the new vendor verification payment security policy?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, that's part of the new policy. Okay, I don't believe we have anybody here for the public forum. So moving on to number 6 is Bridging the Gap. Calvin is with us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Commissioner and Board, having me here today. I wanted to bring you up to speed on Bridging the Gap so you'll know what we're doing. Again, the organization itself helps young kids as well as senior citizens. We're a year-round program now. We help them with their academics. We help them with personal development. We are now getting into heavy agriculture. We have our own greenhouse on campus, trying to teach these kids how to go from the ground to the table. This past winter, we fed over 300 families, with 70% of them being mostly senior citizens. Of course, y'all do know that it's expensive to eat healthy. And so we wanted to make sure our senior citizens are provided for and to have the kids actually grow it and harvest it, it's a blessing. It's a tremendous blessing. We generally, one of our grants entailed us to not to charge for a year, 2 years, and now we just try to get enough back to put it back in the ground. Also, we service over 200 kids, students, 25% of them being on AB honor roll. We're trying to get that number up. Again, some of the kids that come to our program, they coming from some difficult situations. So what we first do is try to show them love and meet them where they are. Our staff is made of 100% volunteers. Again, probably over 130 years of teaching experience. Don't have to be a teacher to volunteer, but we're blessed to have that type of expertise in our building. We just started up a cycling club for kids who you'll be surprised kids don't know how to ride bikes. And so we got a grant from an organization called Outride from California. I went out there a few years ago and they taught me I had to go through certification. So now kids, before they get on a bike, they have to go through pre-trip, have to know that they can navigate with the bike. And now we also have opened it up to 55 plus senior citizens. There's another grant that I'm applying for that will help support that. Get people out of the house, get them connected, get them out of the house. So we've been working on that. We started out with churches, a couple of churches, and now we're going to try to expand into the schools. And I just think it's a blessing when you get these kids off these computers and these cell phones. And it's been encouraging. They get a helmet and they get a bike. These bikes generally run about $1,000. They don't get to take them home, but they have access to them. So that's a blessing that the parents don't have to. That might encourage the parents to get their own bike, but first and foremost, I didn't want a kid not to be able to have access to a bike. So we got about 45 bikes right now, and all of them was part of the grant. I think we continue to work on some of these kids use this also to overcome stress, and some of them have learning disabilities. So they're out trying to outride something. Everybody trying to deal with something. It helps them to release some of the stress and also deal with some of the pressures of being in school. So we've noticed a decline in behavior when the kids are involved in programs like bad behavior. So I just want to bring you up to speed on that. And also we expanded our community garden about 1/4 of an acre, less than 1/4 of an acre. So that'll build even more capacity. This past winter, we had 95% of our vegetables come to fruition. They was harvest. So that was a huge blessing. We do strictly organic, no chemicals, strictly organic. So seeing a kid plant a seed and he or she see it grow and then harvest it, it helps build self-esteem too, and good work ethics. So that's what we've been doing thus far with some of the funds that y'all have rendered to us over the years. And now we're getting ready to do our largest fundraising venture on next Saturday. And I'm asking for $1,500 sponsorship. This is our largest fundraising venture. We want to upgrade our facility as much as we possibly can and also continue to service and expand our services. So that's why I'm here today. If y'all see on the flyer, there's some people that really support us as well as you all. And I wanted to come because I haven't been before y'all in a while to give y'all an update of what we're actually doing. We're not a shell. We actually doing some work. So, but I wanted to at least give y'all an overview of what we've been doing over the last year or so.
The sponsors on the sheet here are they individually? Is it all the same? Is everybody sponsors the same amount, or is it different per?
There's one on there that did less than. Was two of them that did less than $1,500. There's two of them that did less than $1,500.
Yeah, I got a question. I was reading up on the program. How long has the program been in place? And have you got kids that have finished school that, like you can say, hey, this is a kid that was really impacted by the program? You know?
Over the past, this is our 14th year.
Okay.
And we've had 30 kids that go on to college. Yeah, last count was 30. And one of them being a lawyer. A couple of them are engineering. We're gonna try to, we have our luncheon in November where we're gonna try to bring them all back and have them participate, and also being able to celebrate them. And also stay connected, because we consider they alums, so we reach out for them. We're gonna call it a community giving day. They give back, because people have given to them. So, this is our 14th year.
I think it's great because I was reading through it, and your efforts are great, because we see it all day where you got young kids who are really struggling, who need guidance and need direction. And things like a garden. I never thought about a kid learning how to ride a bicycle. And when you said that, I remember some of the Baltimore Ravens pro football players did not know how to swim. And Michael Phelps helps teach them how to swim. And sometimes we forget about those simple skills that we may have learned early in life that kids may not know. I think it's a great thing that you're doing to help them out.
I think, thank you for your comment. I think this generation that we have now, this basic skill, this basic stuff, well, most of us stayed outside. We were pushed outside. And so I have to be careful how I approach this generation, because you can turn them off. So I have to have a balance there with them. If you thrust upon them and their parents is endorsing what they're doing, counter, you're fighting against it. So one key component of our program is parental involvement. If a parent have a child there, they have to devote at least one day out of a week to our program. Now, when they are working and they can't, when we have events like we have it next Saturday, they have to be there. I mean, I don't like to push any kid out of a program, but if we start watering it down and kids and parents don't do what they're supposed to do, they're not going to put it on our shoulders like that, because everybody has a part in this. And so one of the key components, and they explained this in writing, you have to donate some time to our program. And we charge you bare minimum just to keep the lights on. The same program that we have is about $250 up in Greenville. In Atlanta, we don't want to talk about that. So we try to keep it to a minimum where parents can afford it, but not to where we're going to end up having the lights cut off on us. So we try to keep an engagement, and I try to the approach is show them love first, meet them where they are, and find out everybody not going to college, find out what their skill sets, what are their gifts. Every child has a gift. That's our philosophy. Every child has a gift. It's up to us to find out with the parent, what are those gifts. So, I do appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Will you have summer camp?
We're getting ready to kick it off in about another month and a half. We start registration next week. And our summer camp generally runs up until the time they go back to school. It's an undertaking, but if we don't do it, we're going to have kids on the streets.
How many do you have in your summer camp?
Generally, we tap out about 30. We're trying to see whether or not we can partner with Glean's Head Start. They have the building where Sanders Elementary used to be. See, can we partner with them and build capacity? But that's going to also take some volunteers, and I'm trying to be able to give stipends to senior citizens. They shouldn't have to spend their money out of their income, their fixed income, to come and help other people's kids. So we try to give stipends like gas cards. So just tell them thank you for what you're doing, because you don't have to do this. And so we have people that have been with us since the inception.
Okay.
So we've been blessed with that.
Any other questions for Calvin?
Not tapping my own horn, but Dallas Williams, you know Dallas.
Yes, sir.
He was on my ball team. And he used to be, I didn't know he got rough like he was, but he got saved and he got a little church out past Mr. Cunningham's house. He told me, he said, when you was my baseball coach, you and Mr. Mike Lee were like my daddy. He said, I didn't have a daddy. And he said, you don't know how much y'all helped me. And we said, we didn't even know it.
You know, it's a blessing. I think about the Dixie Youth, where we're going to have our kickball festival. It's all this stuff just makes sense now. Where we started, we're going back to where we started, and trying to get some more people out of town to come back during the day. We wanted to be a high time for everybody. Put aside all your indifferences and come out and have a good time. For the kids, some senior citizens, inviting you all. And I wanted to make sure I have y'all sizes. So before I leave, these are the T-shirts that we get. And we want to make sure that you all are represented, because y'all on the back here too. And when people see that, that's showing that you're involved and engaged in our community. And it means a lot. It means a lot. So I said, well, I don't think I've extended this, but I wanted to make sure that each one of y'all have one. Hope you wear it. It helps us when you do wear it. And hopefully y'all get the chance to come out and get a fish sandwich or a hot dog. Again, we have a concession. You don't have to stay, just come through. And it'll be a blessing. But certainly it's our largest undertaking for as a fundraising event. But I certainly would love for y'all's support like y'all have done in the past. But I wanted to at least come tonight and tell y'all where your money going and how it's being spent. And that's helped developing young people as well as reaching out to senior citizens.
How many teams do you have in your tournament?
So far, we got 4.
Okay.
So far, we have 4. So, and we like to say, keep it around a festival type of thing, but they're going to put competition in it. You know, right. So I'm trying to keep away from that word tournament, because I know that it can get very competitive. But we have schools challenging schools. We just put that out there this week when they came back from spring break. So E.B. Morris may be challenging Lawrence Elementary. Lawrence Miller may be challenging Sanders Middle School. Great Court, Higgett Tavern. So Dr. Penland is putting it out there. Hopefully we'll get some buy-in. But if nothing else, get kids out the house.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We'll take it we'll discuss under advisement.
We appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Have a great day. And moving forward, I definitely, if y'all would just email y'all sizes to Mr. Young, I'll make sure y'all get a T-shirt, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
We need to go back into executive session to consider his request. Do I have a motion? We go back into executive session?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All raise your right hand.